COVID-19 and its consequences for our community. When we remember the previous situation in our community, it was almost fine. Even in difficult times, our community always had hope for a better life with our families. Even under tight circumstances that suffocated us in every way, even then, we carried on with much strength and faith in Nhandewá, asking that we and our families, our young people, religious elders and shamans, that in every situation and circumstance, we be protected always and have the intelligence to work things out so as not to give up our fight. Jared?
Today, our community finds itself somewhat frozen in place, like it cannot move, as if it were a bunch of bees huddled together. If touched, it would take over and sting and contaminate everybody because of us, because we are seen as something dirty with no future, even as we coexist with the diversity the world presents us. We have the right to be what we want. We can be equal to any other community or group, but we will never cease being what we are by birth, the true people of this land, so-called natives. I'll pass it on to Indigo.
This was before the pandemic entered our space. When this disease entered here, it brought great fear for everyone, especially for the young people, because young people play together, run together, sing together, bathe together, stroll together, share experiences, and swim together. Nonetheless, we stand firm in our decisions regarding how to create the essence of a healthy life in every sense in this moment of distancing that affects everyone in this land. Our elders have become weak in every aspect as they face this disease. As a fragile and shy people, called poor lazy people by the, how do I pronounce this?
I'll defer to Isis, yeah.
No, your guess would be as good as mine.
Okay.
Because it's not Portuguese, so.
Okay. Okay. As a fragile and shy people called poor lazy people by the MBA'ASY, we are even more affected in our earthly human souls living in this realm that belongs to all the children of the Nhandewá Ivat'Igwa. I think, okay, I'll pass it on to Patricia.
The coronavirus, MBA'ASY, PYTUHE, distances us from white people, and not because of the distancing required by the virus itself. Distancing already existed many decades ago. We, natives of this land, see the virus as the white man who took away our large extended home that protected us. Keeping distance was already part of our natural way of living. All of that because of the malevolence that surrounded us. The pandemic essentially doubled our distance from everyone because we were already seen as Indians are dangerous. They invade our lands. We now suffer so much denigration that if we stop to think about it, we cry and lament the situation of discrimination and racism that has surfaced in light of this disease. Even though we had priority in receiving the first doses of vaccines that came to our people, we hear and see widespread and open mockery about our community. Why are these good-for-nothings who don't even make a profit for the state getting the vaccine first? Michelle?
These are comments that we see today on social media that are exposed for everyone to read. A racism perpetuated against people of our color, dirty people with no future. The pandemic we are experiencing at the present time is both the COVID-19 virus and a pandemic of total disrespect. For now, everything has been suspended in our village: cultural dances, schools, churches, and traditional festivals that are part of the culture of the village. We are not involved in anything. It is just each and everyone in his house. Many relatives are in need because of the realities of the pandemic. Even under these circumstances, we continue fostering joy at the heart of our families, as well as growing of crops, of edible plants, potatoes, cassava, corn, peanuts. Even with what grows, with the situation of disease, this umbilical cord is still flourishing so that our children and young people do not lose their identity, always being strengthened without losing hope for a bright future. Richard?
The impact of COVID-19 has stirred, disrupted, and unsettled our ancestors. It has caused a paralysis of mobilization and caused general uneasiness and an overall discouragement, not because of the disease, but because of the distancing of people who visit the OPI, so the sacred center or the prayer center, turning Angustu Marangatu into a cold place without the presence and interaction necessary to continue life in the OPI. Peter?
We will not, however, we will not, however, give up because our struggle is hard, but we will always persist with hope for better days. We have already confronted a lot for the well-being of our community, and we have not yet met any challenge that can defeat us. The only being that has the power to defeat them, our Narandu, and it is him rather than others that deserve their respect. The pandemic is no longer our greatest fear. What is really frightening is that a beef cattle is worth much more than a starving Indigenous child.